How many times do you just go into a Harley dealership just for a visit? Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Guess where I am? I'm in Reading, Harley Davidson dealership here in Reading, in the UK, and I'm here with sales manager, director, James.
Not director yet, no. Yeah, James Hepworth, yeah.
Right, hello. And he's kindly agreed for me to come in and do a bit of filming here. Now, let's have a quick look at the dealership. Look at all that's going on here. Amazing. Look, as you can imagine, lots and lots of bikes. Lots of shiny stuff, but a bit of work going on, James. So tell us all about that.
Well, we've got the sort of new season's accessories coming in now. Harley often launch new accessories, clothing brands or clothing ranges at the beginning of the year. So you can see Rich over there just changing some of our racking. We've got some new bits and pieces going up there. We've also got some building work perhaps going over there at some point. Maybe being a potential director, as you say, I've got a new office going up there, so hence the racking coming over there, but yeah, there's plenty going on at the moment.
Right. Let's let me ask you a quick question, if I may, about sales. Actually, now, what would you say in the UK, or from this dealership in particular, is your best seller from 2019?
2019. Good year for Sportsters. The Sportster range, it's got to be the 48. That was the bike that, it's the cool bike, it's the low slung seat, it's the sort of raked out front end, fat tyres. So
nice, okay.
Yeah, really good seller.
I'm surprised. I thought I would have thought it would have been something else.
Well, in the Sportster range, it was certainly the 1200. And then in the Softail range, it was the Sport Glide, which I know is close to your heart. Generally in black.
Of course it was, everybody. Of course it was.
So we had a really good year on Softails. In the touring range, probably the UK's best-selling bike, the Street Glide. However, the Road Glide, they redesigned the front end of it. It had a massive impact on the sales in the UK. Dealers were a lot more excited about the shape of the bike. And ultimately, they were putting on as demos, people riding them, finding what a great bike they are. So we've done really well on Road Glides as well.
Yeah, because that's interesting to me. I always thought it would be the Street Glide. I know in America, the United States, it's Road Glide Central and all that kind of stuff. And we've got a couple here, haven't we?
We have, yeah. We did have a beautiful Road Glide special, which has just been delivered at the weekend.
Yeah.
This is the 2019 CVO Road Glide, but you can see the front end, the shark nose, and you've got these extensions down here on the front of the bike. But it just gives it a really clean shape. And look from the side profile. Beautiful bike. Okay,
let's talk a little bit about some of the other things we were talking about as well before. Now, I love the layout of this dealership. Now, I've got to say that because not only you allow me to film, but also I bought my bike from here as well.
You did?
And they're still having kittens over there, I think, of the deal, the great deal that they gave me. I've got to say that.
I was going to say it helps keep the doors open with the. Anyway, moving on.
No, but it was. I've always liked coming here, and I'm not kind of a person who's smitten by the whole lifestyle thing in particular, but I do enjoy coming here. And I know a lot of other people enjoy going to dealerships. Now, the question I've been asked lots and lots of times, who designs all this? You know, designs the dealership. And are you sort of restricted by what kind of designs you can have in here and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, the history behind Reading Harley Davidson, it was, from memory, it was a Rover dealership a few years back. And then it was good. Yeah. And then it was left to you know, it was empty for a number of years.
It was,
Lynn bought the dealership. I believe we extended it out the back as well. So we get a sort of brief from Harley Davidson in the US about the kind of materials that we need to use within the dealership. So the style, the colour of the tiles, this is all dictated by Harley Davidson.
Oh, okay.
We have to get them from particular suppliers. The exterior of the building is, I think it's clad in cedar. So again, it's not just, you know, something from B&Q. It's got to be a particular shade of wood and style of wood. Again, the sort of brickwork on the inside, you'll see this recreated in Harley dealerships around the country.
Yeah.
You know, you've got big pictures up there. Again, these come from Harley.
Yeah, so anything with Harley logos, Harley imagery, that's got to come from Harley, right?
It's dictated by Harley Davidson, comes from Harley Davidson in the US.
So it all comes from the US then?
Sorry, when I say I'm not sure who the supplier is, but
Right,
the styling is done in the US and then comes down into the UK. So it's sort of recreated throughout the UK, and then occasionally will be updated. So as the dealership gets older, we'll have perhaps somebody will come down, they want to change the merchandising layouts. But we get somebody from Harley again. They come down and help us with that.
Right. Do you have sort of flexibility? Let's say you want to go down to a local DIY shop, and I'm not going to say which one. You mentioned it, but we're not going to mention them. But let's say you wanted to go down to the local DIY shop to put up some new shelving or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just making this up as I go along. Would you be allowed to do it?
No, the whole thing about branding is very important to Harley Davidson. I mean, it's one of the biggest and most recognised brands in the world. And I think as part of the franchise agreement, the dealers will agree to, this is how your dealership will look with certain standards which the company expect, and there's certain standards that the customers expect. Yeah. So, walking in here, if it's got some shelf up there with a few trophies or a few aftermarket parts on it, it's not the kind of experience that a Harley owner is going to want. So no, it's dictated by Harley. We agree to that, and we want to give the customer the right experience.
I suppose also what it does, it provides absolute continuity to a certain degree amongst dealerships around the country and around the world. People know they're going to a Harley dealership, and they're knowing that they're going to get a certain look, a certain atmosphere, a certain ambiance, as it were, as we talked about before. Because it is about having a nice, relaxed atmosphere. You're in the market of selling bikes, and selling apparel, but at the same time, it's a nice atmosphere. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. I guess it's going back to the brand as well. Listen, lots of different types of people buy Harley Davidsons, from youngsters just coming into riding now. There's some great offers on paying for riding tests, right up to people that had Harley Davidsons from their youth in the 60s and 70s, and they've still got the Harleys in the garages. So we see these people on a daily basis. You come here on a weekend, you'll see 40, 50, 60 people coming through the doors.
Yeah, I mean, all dealerships are buzzing at the weekend, aren't they?
Are you talking about all Harley dealerships?
Yeah. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, but potentially you could go to some of our other competitors, and you wouldn't get the same kind of atmosphere. No. It can be a little bit clinical, can be a little bit detached from everything else, but it's very much a community kind of feel. And you can take from it what you want. You can join the local hog chapters. You can join the national hog. You can ride solo. We organise ride-outs first Saturday of every month for new riders. We'll organise ride-outs with the assistance of our hog chapter,
which is Thames Valley here.
Valley, yeah. So this weekend we had there was about a dozen of our members came and just took some riders out on an hour and a half, 2 hour trip. Absolutely fantastic. But it is all about that. I don't know. It's a fun place to be, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it's you want to be here. It's a little bit like an art gallery. Sometimes you can just come in here and you can drool over the chrome and the shiny bits.
There is another thing I've got to say. Now, you're going to have to clarify this for me, because I'm not 100% sure if it applies to all dealerships. But here, they have a monthly bike night, or you have a monthly bike night, and it's starting next month, or April, is it? I think April
right through to September, October.
Yeah, that's right. Really cool. Barbecue, bands, music. The car park in and out is all full of people. Goes on to about 9 o'clock in the evening or 8 o'clock in the evening, something like that. And then some. So look, it's a good time. We all have a good time, drink coffee and all that sort of stuff, and drool over bikes and other things as well.
Well, what we're trying to do, obviously, we're trying to promote the dealership. It's RG67HN if anybody wants to sat nav us. But the bike nights aren't just for Harley owners. We have everything from sort of little scooters, right up to American muscle cars and everything in between. The hot nights, we get 300 to 400 motorbikes come through here. We have a band. I think last year we had a wheelie machine as well, which was really popular.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, the burger van's open till late, so it's a really good atmosphere. Definitely come along if you want to know a little bit more about Reading Harley Davidson. If you want to just come along and have a meet up with your chums, really good night.
Okay, that's are these kind of bike nights all over the country at every dealership? Do you know?
No. I mean, we started them. I believe we started them in 2015, end of 2015. Not everyone does it. I mean, most Harley dealerships will do some kind of promotion throughout the year. There's lots of ride outs and things, but the Reading Harley Bike Nights are something that we've started, and I think we'll continue doing, and are getting more and more popular.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've got to say, Harley Davidson as a company. No, I've got a Harley, you know that. You know, I love the Sport Glide and all that kind of stuff. This is the man who sold it to me, for Christ's sake.
It's a fat boy, isn't it? Yeah.
No. Sport Glide all the way.
Fat boy, which is a big secret until right now.
No, it was a Street Glide actually.
Was it one of
yeah, it was that. Yeah, you're going to give me a good price on that as well if I keep. No, he's not. But I would say that Harley, unlike any other brand, do the show better than everybody else. You go to a bike show, their stand is usually the best one. You come to a dealership, I'm not just saying here, but any of the dealerships I've been to, it's good. It's an experience more than just going to buy a bike.
Absolutely, we recognise that this isn't just all these machines. Nobody needs a Harley Davidson, but everybody wants one, and you can go to another manufacturer and you can buy something which will do the same job in as much it'll get you from A to B, but nobody does it the same way as a Harley Davidson. So it's all about the experience, about the branding. Silly little statistic. I think the second most piece of tattooed art in the US is the Bar and Shield.
Right.
So it's one of those iconic brands that it doesn't need a name. It's like Kylie Minogue, isn't it? It's Kylie, it's Madonna, it's the Bar and Shield. So that's the thing that stands out, and that's what people recognise. So you need to embrace that, and we need to promote that as well. And it is, and it's not just us doing that. It's obviously the owners doing it as well. So the owners come along and they get involved, and they bring all that enthusiasm to the brand as well, which is a great thing.
Right, okay, should we have a little walk around then and talk a little bit more? Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, we'll stay away from the man hard at work over there. Look, he's smiling, so he's a happy worker at least. Okay, let's just come around the showroom a little bit. And we're going to sort of come around here now. These are the bikes that are kind of close to my heart. I do love a soft tail, I'm going to say. You say they are, apart from the Sportsters, still the biggest sellers from last year?
I guess, again, a couple of years ago, Harley, the Dyna, because it used to be the Sportsters, the Dynas, the soft tails, the touring bike. So the Dyna is no more. A lot of people are lamenting the demise of the Dyna, but they replaced them with the soft tail. So the soft tail goes, there's about 9 or 10 models in the soft tail range, right up from the entry level street bob at the end, right up through to the Heritage, Sport Glow and everything else in between. So really good selling bike for Harley Davidson. It's the bike that a lot of people will go straight onto after passing their test or coming off sports bikes or other manufacturers.
Well, so is that something I'm quite interested in you said that actually, because this has been my argument with, not argument, this has been my selling point, if you like, for Harley Davidsons. I think this Softail range attracts bike riders from other brands. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a big engine, isn't it? So people are going to look at these motorcycles and they're going to think big engine. I need to have a lot of experience to ride one. Yeah. It's a bit of a myth, Excuse me. A motorcycle will only go as fast as your right hand. The thing about, what people do, there's a bit of curiosity with Harley Davidson. I think there's a bit of resistance with bikers. A lot of bikers, I'll never have a Harley Davidson. They don't go around corners. They're slow, sluggish, and all that sort of stuff. So there's this resistance, and then the curiosity starts to come in, and people have had their sports bikes and their backs are starting to hurt. And they just want something a little more comfortable. They might think that they want to slow down a bit. So this is the brand to go to. So of course they come in, and of course it's such a great all-round bike as well, and there's a great choice. Not everybody likes the chrome, so we can show them the dark custom look of the Sport Glide and the Fat Bob. If you do like a bit of chrome, we have something called a Deluxe. We have something called a Heritage as well, which is a little bit of both. And then you've got the really cool-looking Breakout, which has got a long raised-out forks and the low-slung seats and the back. So it's got something for everybody. Let's face it, they're expensive bikes, and not everybody can afford one. So the target market is somebody like yourself that earns an absolute fortune and can afford some of these things. Really? Okay. So, there is something for everybody, but don't be frightened of one. I took my test 4 years ago. bought my breakout, took my test, came in road for the first time, couldn't turn right for the first 3 months because it's a strange riding configuration. But it didn't scare me, and I've never had any regrets, and that's more important than anything else. I have no regrets.
Let me ask you a question then about the Lowrider S. When it came in, let's come and have a look at these Lowrider S's, because they are deliciousness, really. I mean, they are absolutely fantastic. Look, you've seen lots of pictures, you've seen all the reviews and all that kind of stuff. Let's get away from this light if we can. There we go. Now, I think, personally, that they made a mistake with the 114 engine. That's my
I can see where this is going, but we've got a solution for this.
Yeah, I know. This is my thing. Right, I know. This is why I'm asking you. Right. I think they should have gone with a 117 signature engine. Okay, but that being said, we can comment on that in a bit. How are these selling? Are they lots of people inquiring about them? And
all right, a bit of history of the Lowrider S if you don't know. So 2016, back in the day of the Dyna, Harley released 3-4 bikes, I believe it was. There was a Lowrider S, there was a Fat Bob S, there was the Slim S. All 3 bikes had the 110 Screaming Legal engine in it. They also did a CVO breakout, but that's slightly different kettle of fish. They did the bike, they price pointed them, it was all blacked out, sold like hotcakes. Then obviously those bikes, they made no more, they changed the engine to the Milwaukee 8. So the Lowrider S was one of those bikes that people really coveted. And anybody that owned one and still owns one, they've seen the prices going up and up and up. So obviously, we want to recreate that kind of success, or the manufacturer wants to recreate that success, so they've gone and done the Lowrider S again. Put them side by side, lots of things are similar. You've got the low seat height, you've got the black engine, you've got the sort of gold wheels, you've got the fat front end. Should they put the bigger engine in it? It depends if you've ever ridden a 114. You've got to remember that 114 engine is so much more refined, so much quicker, so much more torque.
Sure.
So it's a decision that they could have made, but then the price wouldn't have been at the price that it is. So not necessarily as affordable.
Okay.
Harley do a 117 conversion, which we can do at Reading Harley Davidson. We've got, we're toying with the idea of doing one on our demo just to see what it's like. So, lots of questions to be answered there, but I think that the bike itself, as it stands, is enough for anyone to handle.
Okay, well, if you ever do that 117 conversion, give me a call.
Would it?
Yeah. And it'll be on the channel here first, everybody.
Of course.
Right. Okay. Let's go into that bit over there. This is really cool. Now, I think that whilst the apparel section is extensive, you've got a great range here as well. Mm-hmm. This is what I think about Harley Davidson apparel over the years. I think it's got cool. What do you think? Because I would say back in the day, it was a bit in your face. It was a bit too much, I think. Now I think I wouldn't say it's toned down so much. It's just cooler designs. I see the video out there, of the senior clothes designer. Yeah. And it's just like, well, actually, they seem to have got it right. Whether you like Harley branding or not, that's a separate question. But I think if you do, I think you're getting better quality.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, actually, because it's not just biking gear that we're selling here. It's everything from, leisure gear, T-shirts. You've got the clothing still. We've still got the leather jackets and everything else. And just everyday sort of clothing wear. So, again, if you look at the target market for Harley Davidson, they are trying to get a younger market in there. There's still this perception that everybody that rides a Harley Davidson is, in their 70s and got a long white beard. It's not true.
True.
The Sportster, especially when they brought out the Dark Custom in 2014, I think it was. They've created this image of a young, cool rider.
Hipsters.
Yeah. I mean, that's another category as well. But I mean, certainly the clothing that they wear isn't just leather jackets and black jeans. So, the shirts, the T-shirts, the what do you call those things over there with the number 1 on it? Those, I mean, I'm sure Joe would be able to tell me what they're called. But the sweatshirts, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Baseball caps. There's absolutely something for everything. But it's a much younger audience as well that are buying this kind of stuff as well.
I mean, globally, there's been a downturn in sales. Let's say there's been a slight downturn in apparel sales. But would you say, at a dealership level, that you're really noticing that? Do people really still come in and buy all this stuff, or let's say, are they more inclined to buy this stuff now because there's such a vast array of designs?
I think, hit the nail on the head again. We were talking earlier about the new season's clothing coming in.
Yeah.
So our boss David was out in Paris recently ordering the stuff for the summer.
Yeah.
Since the new gear has been launched and we've had it in the shop, Joe's done a really good job with redesigning the shop. This has all changed from probably the last time that you came in. We've put the desk somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's just opened the place.
Oh
up
yeah,
as
that's
well.
right. It used to be over there.
Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
There. So
Yeah.
we've just. Joe's done an awful lot of.
This is Joe, by the way. Say hello.
Hello. But
you go.
certainly we're finding now that we get a much younger audience in here as
Yeah.
well, spending a bit more money. But
Sure.
but it's not just about the jackets; it's about the shirts and the t-shirts and everything else.
Yeah.
We get a lot of visitors being close to Heathrow Airport. We get a lot of visitors coming in from the US and other parts of the world.
Right.
That's
interesting.
Part of the fun of it is you buy a t-shirt, or you find a local dealership, you buy a t-shirt with Reading Harley Davidson on the back of it, and you might buy 2 or 3 to go and give to your chums wherever you are. So
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think they would do that.
oh no.
Yeah.
We that section there, we've got, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 different designs there, all with Reading Harley Davidson, and it'll be the same in all the other dealerships in the UK.
Right.
You'll have your own branded t-shirts.
Specific to the dealership.
Specific to
then?
the dealership,
wow,
yeah. And part of the fun is you go there and you can say,
sure.
I mean, personal experience, I went to, lucky enough to go to Mauritius. There is a dealership in Mauritius that has, I think there's about 3 bikes in there.
Yeah.
In the whole dealership, one guy out the back with a toolkit.
Yeah.
And maybe about 7 or 8 different articles of clothing. But you buy a T-shirt to be able to wear it at a bike night with Mauritius on the back of it. It's a bit of a pose, but
right, yeah, no, I get it.
Why not do it?
Yeah, that's good.
But it's all part of the fun. It's all part of the fun.
Brilliant. Okay, let's. Okay, great. Let's. Now we're going to walk back into the showroom here as well. So another question that I get asked quite a lot, and we've already talked about this as well. So this isn't, I'm not sort of ambushing you with questions here. So just so you know that, we have kind of cleared these questions in here. It's what happens to my bike when I come into a dealership and I trade it in to buy another Harley? What happens to it? Let's say. Well, 2 questions. So first of all, if I don't have a Harley and I'm trading that in, or I do have a Harley and I'm trading that in.
Okay, so first instance, you don't have a Harley. So in your, you for example, you had a Triumph which you traded in. Yeah. Lind, we own a few Triumph dealerships. We own BMW, we've got Porsche, etc., etc. Yeah. So, we've got the ability to be able to go up there and we can get your bike underwritten by another dealership. So they underwrite basically means they are put their hand up to buy it. They'll give us a price on it, and then we'll farm it out to that dealership and they'll retail it from their shop floor. If it's something a little bit older that we're not able to retail because of the age, the mileage, for example, then we've got a series of traders that will deal in those kind of bikes. Again, we get underwrites on them, and they, they'll buy the bikes, they'll take them away, clean them up, MOT them, whatever, and sell them on again.
If it's, let's say, another brand, I don't know, a Japanese brand, let's say, would that be the same kind of principle? You just try and sell it on to other traders? Yeah,
potentially. We don't like. I mean, every bike there's a profit in it, so we don't necessarily like giving profit away.
Sure.
If it's something that we're fairly confident we can move on again, or something quite special like a Ducati or something like that, and it's still under manufacturer's warranty, we're happy to try and retail it. Something we're thinking about doing in the future is maybe retailing off-make brands. So as long as it's under manufacturer's warranty, as long as it's saleable, then we'll have a look at everything. If there's an opportunity there, then we'll do that. If it's a Harley Davidson, of course, then we've got Harley Originals. We aren't allowed to sell bikes over 15 years old.
Oh, okay.
Underneath the Originals program. So the Originals program dictates 15 years old is the maximum age. If we want to sell it outside of the Originals program, so if we've got something like a chopper or something that's, something that's been in somebody's front room for 20 years, or it's a barn find, providing it's saleable, i.e. it's going to start and stop and run and it's safe to go and the paintwork's good, we'll sell it, but we can't give it a Harley Originals warranty, but we're prepared to give it a warranty ourselves. And then something that's a little bit newer than that, obviously, we've got a whole selection of used bikes over there which have come in as part exchange, and that's where they end up on our shop floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things with trade-ins. People often dismiss them as well, but I think for me it worked out for me, and for a lot of other people it works out. But I think it really comes down to coming in and speaking to somebody like you and seeing what deal is available, first of all. You know, you can't say that every trade-in is going to be a bad deal, and you can't say that every trade-in is going to be a good deal. It really depends on the bike that you have, as you say, what it is, what you can do. I mean, this is the other thing which I kind of I don't try and defend dealerships, but I kind of have a balanced approach, and I say, well, look, they're a business. Look, this is a business. After all, this is not a charity case, and things cost money, so you have to earn money to be able to sell and operate in business, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting. We it's conversations like this with customers that we have every day. It's very rare that somebody comes in and they present us their motorcycle and ask for a price, and then we give them a price, and they say, wow, that's much more than I expected it was worth. Pretty much 99% of the time it's the other way around. Everybody expects their bike to be worth more than we offer them. Now, a couple of reasons for this. Number one is because we do need to make a profit. We buy things in. We then have to spend an awful lot of money in the workshop to get them to a certain standard to be able to retail them again to customers. We've also got to pay the government their little slice of VAT on the dealing margin.
Don't you just love them?
We don't mind giving the government a bit of money. We also have to give every motorcycle that we sell a warranty. That costs money as well. It's not something that we just... It's in the price of the bike, obviously, but we have to buy those warranties. So there needs to be that kind of dealing margin on it, and obviously people come in there and they will ask for a discount. We have to have a margin in there so we can give a bit of money away, put it in warranty, pay the government, and make sure the bike's fit for purpose. Outside of that, people... Where do you get your value on your motorcycle outside of a dealership? You would probably go online, wouldn't you? You'd go into Auto Trader or eBay, see what they're selling for, and think, well, I've got a bike, similar mileage, similar age, therefore my bike is worth that amount of money. You have to remember that's what they're selling for, that's at a dealer with all those overheads and other costs. So, when we offer somebody a price, we will always try and give you the best price for a bike. We look at every bike that we take in as an opportunity to make more money. Nothing wrong with that. So we have to build that kind of margin in. If we buy something in too dear and it's still there in 3 months' time, and the market drops, then we're taking that risk as well. So, it might seem that we're just trying to nick everything, but we're not. There is a lot of thought that goes into buying motorcycles, and we try and be respectful about your motorcycle as well, because it is, it's your belongings, and we don't want to insult you with prices.
You're absolutely right. You make a really valid point there. People look online, here in the UK, on eBay, Auto Trader, whatever it is, and they're looking at a certain price, but that may not be a realistic sell price for your particular bike. It really depends on your bike, and it's the laws of supply and demand, isn't it? Who wants to buy it, who wants to sell it, how many are available, all that kind of stuff.
I mean a great example of pricing. So we use something called CAP of the industry. Sort of standard is auction prices collated from dealerships and auctions and everything else, which gives them an indication of what bikes are selling for, and then they take that information and they allow dealers to tap into that information to get average prices. There's another company called Glass's Guide, which is an industry leader, and do the same thing. Back in the day, we used to have these little books. You used to see, sort of sheepskin coat and chalky hat and a little book, but now it's all online. And they give an indication of what a bike's worth. Now, a price for a touring bike in Surrey, for example, will be a lot more than a price for a touring bike perhaps in, somewhere else. So prices will vary. It's only a guide. But a good example of a guide, so CAP at the moment will look at Lowrider S's, which we were talking about earlier, the Dyna models, and they might say that those bikes are only worth £8,000 or £9,000. But as a dealership, we know that they're very desirable bikes, so we're prepared to pay more money than that for them. So you can see that it works both ways as well.
Right.
So there's certain bikes out there, breakouts. Everybody loves breakouts. It's supply and demand, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. Shall we move on and talk a little bit about servicing down here? Yeah, okay. Right, so we're just going to go a little bit further on. This dealership seems to go on forever and ever. So I'm going to basically just talk a little bit about dealership, costs and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It actually kind of... We've already talked about it, really, but if we can just go over here. I mean, for everybody who's not from this area, this is the kind of thing which I'm looking at, really. It's this kind of chill-out zone experience. That's what a lot of people like about coming to, Harley dealerships and getting free coffee as well. I'm a big coffee drinker anyway. Look, so that's a service desk there and parts desk behind us there. And obviously, this is all the workshops there behind us there, and all busy away doing stuff and repairing bikes. But here's the question, and again, I think lots of people like to criticise dealerships, and we all love to have a moan. I'm one of life's moaners. If you've ever seen my sports casting, you'll know I love to moan. But what I will always say is that dealerships are stuck between a rock and a hard place a little bit. You have, overheads to deal with and all that kind of stuff. Look, you're providing a big area, and a big place that people want to come to. You're selling bikes, they're premium bikes, all that kind of stuff. So costs are going to be high, but they're not as high as maybe others might think they are. What'd you say to that?
Oh, the cost that we're charging out rather than the cost that we're incurring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. We all know.
Go into the light a little
Yeah,
bit?
of course. Yeah, Harley is a premium brand. It's a prestige brand. If you're gonna compare it to cars, for example, we're up there with Porsche and Ferraris. Dare I say, it's that kind of aspirational vehicle.
Yeah.
And with that goes a premium price for everything else that you get with it. The parts are expensive, but then there's lots of different parts to choose from, and people have a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all part of the experience, isn't it?
What it is, everybody wants to individualise their bike, and we've got a catalogue as thick as an old telephone directory, full of sort of shiny bits that we can do. The servicing costs, okay, you pay, it's still less than £100 an hour, less than £90 an hour to bring your bike in to have it serviced. But you've got to remember that these guys they've spent years training. I mean, we've got Jimmy, one of our senior techs there, who's just been on a master tech course. Spent 2 weeks in Italy training to get to a certain level, which is dictated by Harley Davidson, to allow him to have that patch on his shirt to say he's a master tech. That allows him to diagnose your bike. He can rebuild engines. An awful lot of training goes into him achieving that. The cost of the tools, I mean, those technicians have to buy Imperial tools, which aren't necessarily freely available, but the amount of tools that they need can run into thousands of pounds. So there's a cost there. Their diagnostic machine, obviously, with engines now, there's a lot more electronics on it. The new touring bikes now have got their own sort of Wi-Fi hotspots and things. So there's a lot more technical equipment needed to service a Harley Davidson, and that's investment that the dealership has to make. We've got to buy that. It's not as if you can go down to Argos and buy it. You have to get it from certain places. Sure. And, you're restricted. So when you come in there and you pay for you're paying that hourly rate. You're paying for all that experience and all that equipment. To put the heating on when it's cold like this and turn the lights on. So. I understand that people think it's a lot of money, but other brands out there, I think, are equally as expensive. And when you look at the difference between perhaps going outside of a dealership to somebody that doesn't necessarily have all those overheads as well, the difference in those costs isn't actually that much. And let's not forget, you come back with a service book without any stamps in it. What's your bike worth? How much have you lost? For saving a few quid on a service, you're going to lose money in the future, potentially.
And there's always, let's face it, there's always deals to be done, isn't there? You can combine servicing with a new part that you want fitted, all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's always deals to be done, isn't there?
Absolutely, during the winter months when it's a little bit quieter, we don't see so many people riding out. We're quite happy to come and pick your motorcycle up. We're quite happy to negotiate the labour rate. We'll do a winter check as well. I mean, what we've started to introduce now, I mean, the service intervals on Harleys are 5,000 and 10,000 miles. So what we're doing now is say, come on in at 2,500 miles and we'll just do a quick oil and filter change for you. We do it at a reduced price. But if you're not using your bike, if you're only doing 1,000 miles a year, it's just good practice to keep everything sort of topped up and make sure that you haven't got water in your brake fluid, for example. So we'll always have a chat. We're always welcome to have a chat.
Right. Okay. So I mean, you touched on it there as well about the training, the techs go through and all that kind of stuff. And I always call them mechanics. I mean, I know it's all technicians and all this different jargon, right? But here's the question: I don't get asked this so much. I get comments like this all the time, or I see comments like this online and all that sort of stuff, saying, "Oh, I know more than that technician. I know more than that dealership. I've been riding bikes for 50 years. They can't tell me what to do." And this is my answer to that. We've kind of talked about it already, but this is my answer. Okay, I might have 40 years riding experience. I might know quite a bit about softails now because I do a lot of reading. But there's no way on earth I know as much about these bikes than a tech does, because you've got all the equipment, you've got all the books, you've got all the diagnostics and everything, you've got all the training experience, you know. But as you say, you know, you've got access to so much more information that us mere mortals haven't got. You know, what would you say to that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, the engines have been around for decades now, but there's constantly updates on some of these engines as well. You know, with the Milwaukee 8, there was updates on, certainly on the diagnostic side of it, there was mechanical updates as well, which, you know, that information isn't shared out there in the wider public. So, you know, obviously that's something that we know about. You know, and you know, these guys out there are working on these engines on a daily basis, and they're constantly learning. Yeah. So they might open up a casing or something and find something in there which is caused a breakdown, and they've then got that information to perhaps look for to prevent things in the future. Sure. So it's a constant learning curve. You know, there's no replacement for that kind of experience. I mean, if there was, we'd all be sort of Sundays, you know, sitting up there and fixing our bikes and changing oil. Sure. You know, the thing with, and I'm not a technician, I'm not mechanically minded at all, but I do know that everything has to be tightened up in a certain sequence. Sure. You know, you get that wrong, and you tighten up a bolt out of sequence, for example, you can have an oil leak, which can cause all sorts of problems. Yeah. So, you know, that's why you bring your dealerships. Okay, it's our risk, but then that's why we send our guys on training courses to make sure that we're not in that situation where we're doing something incorrectly.
Interesting with the you know, the M8 engine when it first came out, there were teething issues, and this is what I say to people all the time: new engines, new bikes, new models. It could be anything, a new washing machine, a new airliner. There's always going to be teething problems for the first year or so, because it's almost like anything has to be field tested. You know, you have to get people riding them, in case of motorcycles, to see, you know, what little issues are. And then there are things that develop that nobody's even thought of, nobody ever thought would be a problem. However, what happens, if we carry on walking here a little bit more, what happens is that there's this whole sort of negative vibe starts, and then you think, well, actually, that's kind of unfounded. Yeah. Now, whilst there hasn't been that much, you know, with the M8 engines, and I think they're cracking engines, I've got one myself, you know I have. What would you say to sort of many owners, or who are not M8 owners, or who are M8 owners, and say, well, actually, they're not as bad as people kind of make out? People like me on YouTube, you know, spouting off, saying, look at this engine, it's a load of rubbish, you know. What would you say to that? And this is your opportunity to slate me off. Go on.
Slate you off.
I never do that. I never slate things off.
Or save Harley Davidson, Listen, I mean, again, I'm not a technician. I mean, my job is great because I get to make people's dreams come true. It might be an old cliche, but you know, we've got the easy job here because people have done a lot of research. They know what they want, or if they don't know what they want, they can come in and we can help them, guide them down that pathway, and it's a great experience. So when it does go sour, then obviously lots of people are going to hear about that. Good experiences of what we try and make. This is what we want people to talk about. The good experiences. Sometimes people take it for granted. If something goes wrong, they're going to talk about it because it might cost them money, it's inconvenient, you know, we love a drama. Now, a statistic that I heard was that before the Milwaukee 8 engine was in development not long after the twin cam was developed, so they had years and years and years to get this engine right. Yeah. Millions of miles worth of road testing before the bike was actually launched in the US. Yeah. So, you know, if we get teething problems now, there probably would have been umpteen teething problems that we don't even know about. So you're always going to get a few. I mean, you know, let's take the car world. I mean, I used to work in cars. You know, people spend tens and even £100,000 on Land Rovers or Range Rovers. And if you look at their JCT top, you know, worst cars to buy or most unreliable ones, it's actually right down at the bottom, isn't it? They're the ones that they're the ones that seem to develop the fault. So. But there's a premium brand, so we know that anything man-made can and will go wrong. So it's just part of life, unfortunately. What we try and do is we make that and turn it into positive, and we try and make it as you know, easy as possible to discover the problem, make it if you need a bike, we'll try and put you on a motorcycle, and just make it less inconvenient for you.
Yeah.
And hopefully get it right first time.
I mean, if you're not finding the solution, then you're going back to the company, Harley, and saying there's a big problem here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying about any specific problem. Let's say hypothetically there is a problem. I come in with my Sport Glide and I say, look, this is all crap, this is all rubbish, right? And then you'll say, well, if it can't be fixed, we need to go back to the company and get them to find a solution. Is that the way it works?
Well,
really?
that's a whole legal argument which I'm not going to be drawn into.
Oh, okay.
That's called the Consumer Rights Act. But listen, it's very, very rare that we can't solve a problem and fix it first time.
Yeah.
If it does happen, if we can't fix it first time, then we go back and try a second time.
Yeah, no. What I mean is that is a problem that nobody's ever come across before. A first time thing. Sorry, I didn't mean that kind of thing. No, what I meant was this is the first time problem that nobody's ever seen. Somebody comes to, customer comes to me and says, look, this is broken or whatever. And you say, ooh, we've never seen that before. What's going on? We don't know. We don't know what the solution is here. Do you then go to Harley as a company and say, look, there's this problem. Is there a solution for it?
Yeah. Again, I mean, this is going back to why you have dealers in the first place. We have got access to obviously the worldwide net of dealerships that maybe just because we've never come across the problem doesn't mean to say that somebody in Singapore hasn't come across the problem. So all that kind of information, anything that's unusual or outside of normal breakdown parameters, if you want to call it, will be fed back to Harley Davidson, just so that they've got almost like an encyclopedia of things that can and will go wrong, and we can draw on that experience. So it's not often that we find we can't fix something, But generally, we've got access to information.
Okay, fair comment. Now, one final question, because I've taken up way too much of your time. You've been very gracious with me, and everybody's looking at us going, what the hell's going on here? What is going on? No, there's lots about what I do. We can talk for hours.
Really?
Oh, yeah, hours and hours. Get coffee, please. So the other question is, rates of servicing, but parts, really.
Yeah.
Now, parts cost whatever they cost. That's what it is. And as I say, you can always get some deals done, I'm sure, and all that kind of stuff. But one of the questions that people ask me is, how long does it take for parts to come, and where do they come from?
Brilliant.
So
we're all laughing. I can hear everybody in the parts department laughing at the moment. So at the moment, Harley Davidson in America, I believe, have just changed their warehouses and the whole systems. So at the moment there's a bit of a delay on parts. So for anybody watching us on a YouTube channel in 2025, this is February 2020.
Right. Yeah.
So there are some issues with supply at the moment. So it's essentially, I believe, and Jason will probably back me up on this one, or Richard will back me up, the parts come mainly from the US into Belgium. Yeah. So Harley Davidson Europe, Harley Davidson UK. We have a holding warehouse in Belgium. All the parts are shipped from wherever they're made in the world. A lot of them are made in the US. Obviously, there is stuff that comes from Asia, other parts of Europe. All goes into Belgium. We as a dealership will then order items on stock order, which means it takes 3 to 5 working days. Yeah. If it's on what's called VOR, which is an overnight, where you pay an extra 10%, then they're flown in overnight on DHL or whatever courier company.
And if you can't get the parts within that time frame, it's because they haven't got them in Belgium or they haven't been delivered from the States, let's say. Is that?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, we as a dealership have a stock holding of, a few tens of £1,000s worth of fast-moving parts.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, filters and oil and, maybe grips and things like that. We'll have a good representation. If we haven't got it here, we've got a great dealer network in Lind anyway. We've got 4 other dealerships we can draw on. And then if it's not here, we can look into Belgium and get it out of there. Right. So generally, if it's not in Belgium, it's America, Belgium here.
And hopefully, this is going to be a temporary issue with the parts delay, let's say. I mean, at some point, it's all going to be resolved because, these things happen, I suppose. Any kind of restructuring or whatever they're doing, it's...
Yeah, it's painful for us because we've got bikes that we can't complete. Yeah. Because we might be waiting on gaskets, we might be waiting on oil filters, something like that. Yeah. And it is frustrating from a dealer's perspective because customers want the bikes back. We want the money from the the parts. But it's one of those things. It's all part of the motor trade, really.
Yeah. No, I fully appreciate that. Well, listen, it's been absolutely fantastic speaking to you, and I'm sure you've answered lots of questions that people keep on asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you'll invite me back for more questions, another Q&A session. Maybe not so long next time.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Maybe have a few
cameraman. Somebody else can hold the camera.
Yeah, possibly. That's the way to do it. But it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Thanks for showing us around, and hopefully you've got a lot from that as well. But always remember, please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments below. Let us know if you want to know the answers to any more questions that you have, and check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. This has been Alf. This has been
James.
And this has been Reading Harley Davidson dealership. Look at that. Anything else you want to add just before we go?
That's it. No, but I mean, obviously, it's March coming up soon. So if you're looking for a new motorcycle, then come down and see us.
Not only here, of course. I'm sure any Harley Davidson dealership would be saying that as well.
No, not at all. No, most of them are closed. I think all other Harley Davidson dealerships are shut between February and April. So yeah, come and see us.
Yeah, it's only Reading. That's it. It's a place. Look, and as I say, it is the experience. So you come to a place like this, it's the experience, and that's what you want, really, isn't it?
Best coffee in Reading.
It is best coffee in Reading, and also they got a nice little burger van out the back.
In fact, it is the best in Reading.
But I tell you what, look, even if you're not into Harleys and all that sort of stuff, come to the bike nights. You have a great fun, I'd say.
It's good fun. Yeah, really good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see a whole mix of people, and I tell you what, it dispels a lot of myths of the kind of people who ride the bikes as well. Because as you say, it's not all old people like me or older. It's kind of guys like him and a lot younger, cool looking guys, Right, okay, catch you again. Ta-da.